Hi there, welcome to the All Woman Recovery Podcast. My name is Eileen Foley and I'm a drug and alcohol counsellor from Co Kerry in Ireland.
And hello, I'm Claire Keeney. I am a certified life coach working with people with addictions, and I live outside Bristol in England.
Okay, so in today's video we are going to talk about recovery, and that recovery isn't a quick fix, and maybe looking at the process of recovery and particularly early recovery. I think we're going to look at those topics in this video.
Yeah, I mean, for myself, I entered recovery in 1984. I was living in the States at the time, and I'm somebody that ran away from my country. I ran away from everything, and what I did when I ran away is I really got into my addiction, but I didn't know that. And I really know today I was led into recovery by God. I'm not a religious person, but I do believe that there is a higher call to the world that we live in. And I really was tapped on the shoulder. I didn't know why I'd gone, didn't know what I was doing there, but I just kept showing up every day. Every day I'd go. I didn't like it. I didn't want to be like you. I wanted to be different. And I stayed like that for a good 9 months until I got so tired of being so different. I said, oh, crikey, come on, I'm just like one of you people. And I just surrendered. It was that simple.
Simple but not so simple.
Simple but not so simple.
Yeah.
And fighting all the way.
Yeah. And I think that is part of the process of recovery. I know for myself as a concerned person, as a family member, my husband is sober with nearly 15 years now, but when he came out of treatment and did all that, started doing all that work, and I started looking at myself and started getting support for myself, it really hit home to me that, okay, while I was deeply affected by addiction, not everything was down to addiction. And definitely for me, the first year in my recovery was a massive struggle for me, because everything that I thought I knew about myself, about my relationships, about the world, was being challenged from hearing other people's stories. So I always kind of say the first 12 months for me definitely felt like I was being turned inside out. To the point that I was that I was just absolutely exhausted. It was exhausting. It was hard work. But because recovery is a process, and because changes were happening in me, and bit by bit, the bad days got less and the good days got better, and I started to feel better about myself and started to change my thinking and my behavior. And I remember in the first year realizing that I hadn't had a good night's sleep in years, and I mean years, and I was getting a night's sleep. So my peace of mind was coming back, something that I probably never had. And that process of even discovering that I've always been, or I had always been, troubled before addiction came into my life, because I wasn't reared in an alcoholic home or an addicted home. But even that revelation for me was huge, that I recognized, okay, this is not all of my behaviors and all of my thinking is not all down to addiction. And I think that is often the process for family members, that when their loved one gets into early recovery and they have to look at themselves and bring the focus back onto themselves, it's quite scary and it's quite challenging, that they're looking at their behaviors and how they are interacting with someone, and how they are enabling behavior or tolerating behavior, or and how so much of that stuff and that mindset can be set up in childhood, that it's not just the addiction that's the problem, that there's a bigger picture here. And at least that was my process of early recovery, that discovery that a lot of what's going on with me is down to me and down to my way of thinking or my upbringing, or that it was before this addict came into my life that that stuff was already there. And that was a huge revelation for me.
No, definitely. I mean, for myself, it was like I was the consummate victim. If it was, I'm an Irish Catholic, born in England, you know, I went to a school with the nuns, and I was going to be doomed to hell. I was no good. I was bullied. It was, you know, it's because I'm Irish living in England. It just went on and on and on. And it was either my mother's fault, it was the nun's fault. It was always somebody else's fault. And when I got into recovery, the easiest thing was to stop the addiction. And as you've referenced, Eileen, then I needed to address the underlying causes. And that is the journey of recovery, is really addressing the underlying causes that got me to that place where I felt the only thing I could do to live in this world was either to pick up a drink, take a drug, smoke a cigarette, stuff my face with sugar. You know, there's gambling, there's sex addiction. It just, the list just goes on.
And that's the thing, that the presenting problem will be the alcohol or the drugs, but it's what's underneath that, what's behind that.
Yep.
You know, the journey of exploring all of that and looking at that and realizing that, you know, the addiction is a symptom of what's going on underneath.
Very much so, very much so. I mean, you know, 35 years on, I mean, who would have thought? And I have become the person that I used to run away from when I was a little girl, you know, and I'm thinking, wow, I could have missed this. Could have missed this had I not hung around. And what a shame that would have been. What a waste that would have been. It's been the most amazing journey, and I've done it one day at a time. I remember in my first year, I'd see people celebrate an anniversary. Oh, I want that. Oh, I want to be 5. Oh, golly, they've got 5 years. They've got 10 years. Oh, golly, I want to be there. You know, and I had to do my time one day at a time. One day at a time.
And I think that is the biggest thing in the process of recovery. And I suppose just to say that we're all recovering from something, be it an addiction, affective addiction, you know, childhood, whatever, that, you know, that understanding that we're keeping it in the day or in the hour or even in the moment, that right here, right now, that's all we have. Certainly we can have little plans for the future, but that, you know, today I'm getting through today. And that is the biggest gift that recovery gives people, I think. You know, okay, it gives them sobriety, and it gives them, you know, hope or peace of mind. My biggest gift from recovery was peace of mind. And that, you know, it's a huge gift that recovery gives people. That you know, staying in the moment, staying in the day.
When you talk about peace of mind, I always remember in my first year of recovery, I'd walk down to the ocean. And it was as if for the first time I could really see the blue of the ocean. I could see the sun glitter on the ocean. And I had this sense of peace and calmness in me. And I thought, oh, golly, I want more of that. And it left very quickly.
Yeah.
But I wanted more of that peace and calm on the inside. And I thought, oh, and it's come and it's gone. And I have longer periods of that now.
Yeah.
But it's not consistent.
Yeah, and I think that's the art of living, that, you know, we do have peace of mind, more definitely in recovery. Life can disrupt that because that's life. But I suppose now we have the tools to get back to that peace of mind. So we're not in that turmoil or that disconnection the whole time, that we have tools now in recovery that, okay, if I'm going through a tough time now, we know that it's not going to last forever. There are steps that I can take to help me get back to where I want to be. That we don't have to stay in it. Whereas in active addiction, we're stuck in it. We're completely stuck in it, and we can't see any way out of it, or we can't see the wood for the trees. That we're just completely consumed by it.
And that's why it's so wonderful with the tools that we have at our availability when we get into recovery. We can start to realize that, oh, I need to do, what's the next indicated action step I need to do? As opposed to, you know, maybe picking up a drink or taking a pill or picking up a cigarette, whatever it is. You know, there's something I can do to help my recovery. I have to be willing to help myself first, though.
Yeah.
If I'm not willing to help myself first, then that's the key. You know, it's I have the problem, but it's a we recovery. We do recovery together.
Mm-hmm. And I think that I suppose, you know, because addiction is so isolating for people, that can be a real challenge for them in early recovery, that, you know, reaching out to people, looking for support, it can be a massive roadblock for people, that they struggle with that.
It definitely was for me, because when I came in, I was alone living in this country. I'd been there for a number of years. I had no friends, no family, and I didn't like people, and I certainly didn't like women. And I would be given all these phone numbers. I used to throw them away. But no, I'm not talking to anyone. And I have discovered, you know, over time, that the people that are going to save me are my female friends. I needed to get over myself.
Yeah.
And I had to do quite a bit of work, you know, around, you know, what's my challenge with other women. And today I have the most amazing women friends in my life, and they're the ones that are going to love and support me. And, you know, there's a saying, it's just like the women will embrace you. You know,
that's a really important point, Claire, that you pick your tribe carefully. So
you sure do.
You know, because in active addiction, everyone can be your friend, but in fact, you know, if we're lucky, we'll have maybe 3, 4, 5 really, really good friends that we can trust 100%. So, you know, tune into your gut, and women are great for their intuition, and, you know, that can get lost in active addiction, or lost in, you know, I know for me, definitely when I was living with active addiction, I used to, I never listened to my gut, and I would have always been a person that trusted my gut, and thank God in recovery that is back now 100%. And if there's something going on and my gut is niggling at me, then I know, okay, this isn't sitting with me, this isn't for me, and I'm very guided by it. And that was a brilliant gift to get from recovery. So for women to, you know, pick your tribe, pick your close circle of friends, trust your gut, because your gut will give off signals, or your intuition will give off signals if something or someone isn't for you. Doesn't mean that they're bad or anything, but it just means that this person isn't for me. All right, and it's about tuning into that and really listening to that, and, you know, taking your time to kind of reconnect with your instinct and with your gut feeling.
And again, all that takes time. It's just not suddenly going to happen, and it's trial and error. It's really trial and error, but we do it one day at a time. One day at a time. If I fall down one day, does that mean I've lost everything? No, it just means you pick yourself up. And if it's you do the next minute, the next hour, all I have to worry about is today. Don't have to worry about tomorrow.
Yeah. And I think that was the one tip that we wanted to finish the video on today, was that, you know, keeping it in the day or the moment, if the day is too much, and taking it one day at a time, taking your recovery one day at a time, and understanding that it is a process, and that, you know, particularly in early recovery, there might be any balance, but that balance comes over time, and to stick with it.
The recovery actually is in itself simple in effect. We can make it complicated.
Yeah.
And it's about keeping it simple. Keeping it simple.
Keeping it simple and keeping it in the day.
Yep.
Okay, so are we okay to leave it there, Claire?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
I think that's been
Excellent.
great.
So again, at the end of the video, there's going to be a clip just with our email, info.awrp@gmail.com. If anyone has any comments or feedback, or wants us to talk about a particular topic, we would love to hear from you. So that's it. So bye for now, and we will see everyone soon.
Yeah, bye, and be well.
Bye-bye.